Welcome to As the Chakras Spin, a podcast that connects life's experiences as they relate to the 7 major chakras physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. I am your host, Tashi K.D. Cooper. Peace and light, everyone. My name is Tashi K.D. Cooper, and I am the vibrational midwife, aka Reiki Woman. Yeah. We are back, y'all, with another episode of As the Chakras Spin. Okay? We are continuing with the crown chakra. Okay? For anyone who is new to energy or chakras, there will be a link in the description that will give you a general overview of what chakras are, okay? And energy in general. All right. So the crown chakra is located at the top of the head, okay? In today's textbooks, you'll see it as the color violet. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, it was the color white. So I'm rocking a white head wrap today to represent the back in the day crew. Okay. So the top of the head, it points up towards the heavens. Body parts associated will be the central nervous system. That will be your brain and your spinal cord. Also the pineal gland is part of the crown chakra. Okay. Some qualities would be being one with all, seeing yourself and others, having a sense of knowing. You don't know how you know, but you just know, right? Being in alignment with your higher self lives here, inspiration lives here, and wisdom, okay? So the lists are not exhaustive. There may be more body parts and there may be more qualities, but I'm going to leave it there, okay? If you're watching, I know you're wondering who's the queen on screen with me, right? I am so excited to introduce this queen to you guys. Her name is Karen Love. Born in Montclair, New Jersey, Love earned her MFA from New York University Tisch School of the Arts and her BFA from Montclair State University. Presently, she is the director of the dance program at Hillside High School. Director of the after-school dance program for Hillside Public Schools District, and an adjunct professor at Montclair State University. She is a certified Pilates Mat Instructor and certified 300 hours registered yoga teacher with the Yoga Alliance, and is a Dance New Jersey Vice President and an NJPAC Dance Advisory Co-Chair, okay? In October 2006, she created Wofabe African Dance and Drum Festival, New Jersey's first African Dance and Drum Festival. She has studied West African dance and culture for the past 30 years. She was awarded 2 consecutive folk artist apprenticeships from the New Jersey State Council on the Arts to study Ghanaian dance with master teacher Mbemba Bangura. Also, Love was able to study under her mentor, the late Baba Chuck Davis, in Senegal, the Gambia, and Morocco. She has performed with Urban Bushwoman, Gallman's New York Dance Theater, and the Von Howard Project. She performed in Cole Porter's musical Jubilee at Carnegie Hall, directed by the late Herbert Ross, with choreography by Lynn Taylor Corbett. Her choreography has been commissioned and presented at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, DTW Fresh Tracks, Aaron Davis Hall, The Yard, Symphony Space, Dance Space, Joyce Soho, Thelma Hill Performing Arts Center, Bates Dance Festival, Duke University, Northern Illinois University Balshai Dance Theater, Montclair State University, NYU, Newark Arts High School, and Montclair High School. You know what, y'all? Let's give some snaps, okay? And then put your hands together for the Karen Love. Woo! Thank you, Karen, for being a guest on As the Chakras Spin.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. All right, y'all. So you know me, I'm going to just jump right on in. I had the high honor of dancing in Karen's company, Umoja Dance Company, sometime between 2002 and 2004. It was actually the second dance company I danced with. I was dancing with another company at the same time. This was a thrilling time for me because though I took my first African dance class in 98, it wasn't until 2000 that I started taking classes regularly. Like, some might say I was kind of obsessed with it. Like, I know I took a minimum of 5 classes in a week, and sometimes some weeks more than that, because some Saturdays I would take 3 or 4 classes. Yeah. Yeah. And I never thought or even considered dancing with a dance company until 2002-ish. And I was 32 years old at the time, y'all. I say that to encourage who's ever watching that if there's something that you want to do that may seem outlandish to you or crazy to some other folks, and you think that age is something to be concerned about, do it. Just do it. Age is nothing but a number. Just start and do it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So back to this queen, y'all. I remember being super impressed with Karen's leadership, direction, creativity, and dance skill. Umoja Dance Company was much more than I envisioned when I was referred to Karen by a fellow dancer. I thought it was just an adult African dance company because when I would attend the rehearsals, it was just adults. But I was pleasantly surprised to see a children's ensemble, an ensemble of teens and young adults, and then the adult ensemble for the African dance piece. And I specify African dance piece because then there were another group of individuals performing contemporary modern. And Karen was over everything. I was like, okay, yeah. Yes. So again, this was back in 2003, 2004, and she's still going, y'all. She's still doing it. And this is, to me, an awesome example of a healthy crown chakra, where from my stance, Karen has been in alignment with her higher self for such a long time. Yeah. And so before I get into the interview, y'all, I want to share this kind of short story. I witnessed Karen performing, I guess, contemporary modern. It was in an intimate setting. And I don't remember if you were doing a solo or if you were with maybe another person, but my eyes were on you. And you guys, I'm no modern dancer. I know I'm probably going to say this wrong. She stepped into a lunge so low. I was like, oh my goodness. And she floated up. I just saw strength, agility, grace. I mean, balance, and it was just effortless. I was like, oh my goodness. And that was a treat for me because dancing with her company, I didn't really get to see her dance because I'm dancing on stage. So that was a treat. Yeah. But yes, I still remember this. Oh my goodness. And this was a while ago, you guys. All right. So today we will explore how the crown chakra qualities of higher self-alignment, knowingness, inspiration, wisdom, and grace have shown up in Karen's life professionally. Okay, so Karen, I am so curious. I have a multi-part question.
Uh-oh.
How old were you when you started dancing? And was it something you asked to participate in, or was it a love you discovered after being placed in a dance class for extracurricular activity?
So I started probably sixth, seventh grade. I was late. I didn't start like, third, fourth grade and pre-K like, most dancers. So
Yeah.
sixth, seventh grade. And I started dance because before that I was doing gymnastics. So I did
Oh.
gymnastics for maybe about a year, a little bit over a year. And when you're in at that time, when you were studying gymnastics, practicing gymnastics, you were encouraged to take some form of dance class, whatever it may be, to help you with your floor routines.
Okay.
So,
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, that's what we did. So my mom, we found a dance studio, Giselle Renee Dance Studio in Montclair, local studio, and
Okay.
she signed me up, and I took jazz. I didn't take anything else. I took jazz dance. So that was my first introduction to class. So I took jazz dance, and then I
Okay.
really liked that. And the teacher's like, you should take more classes. There's more to dance, than just jazz. And I'm like, okay. So then I started taking tap. So I took jazz and tap. And then again, they encourage, you can take more, there's more, classes and genres that you can study. I'm like, okay. So then I started taking ballet. So I did ballet, tap, and jazz. So those are my three classes every week, at the studio. And
Yeah.
I just began to just fall in love with it. And I was like, bye bye gymnastics, I'm done with that. And I just stayed. I stayed with dance because the both the worlds can work,
Yeah.
but my heart was going more into dance. It wasn't really into gymnastics anymore.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with the dance, and from there, the studio, there wasn't modern dance at the studio at all. It was ballet, tap, jazz,
Okay.
maybe a little bit of lyrical, but
Okay.
it was just ballet, modern. I mean, ballet, tap, and jazz, and that's all that I took. So that was probably about sixth, seventh grade
Okay.
that I started. So it wasn't like I went to a dance performance and loved it. It was
Yeah.
never any of that. It was like from gymnastics, you need to take some dance classes, and that's
And
how
that's
I
how it
got
started.
introduced it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so do you have any family members who were dancers or other types of performing artists, or did your motivation and inspiration come from other sources, as you started to move through the dance community in life?
Well, it's just me, just me and my family. No singers, no actors, nothing. I'm the only dance person. So it was a big introduction to my family, coming to dance recitals, and what is that? We're going to a different type of thing. Maybe like
Yeah.
one singer, like my cousin, would sing a little bit, but I was the only dance person. And the more I danced, the more that was middle school. So once I got to high school, I went to a performing arts high school,
Yes.
Montclair High School. So in the performing arts, you had to not pick, but could take dance, you could take drama, you could take music, whichever you wanted to take. So of course, I took dance classes. And my freshman year, they have a dance company, so you have to audition for that dance company. And I
Okay.
auditioned and didn't get in to the dance company. Was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I can dance. I can dance. So I didn't get in, and the director at that time, she said, "You're just not ready. Come back, next year." And I said, "Okay." So I came back, the sophomore year, auditioned, and I made it into the company. And from there, it's like all the doors, all the light bulbs, and everything just went off. I just became, um, everything was about dance. Everything was about dance. That's all that mattered. That's all I wanted to do. Rehearsals, performing, choreographing. That's when I started going to another outside studio. So I left the dance studio that I was at, and went to
Okay.
another dance studio, that's Gorman's North Dance Theater. I started going to that studio where I got, again, introduced ballet modern, now more modern, jazz, just a completely, different
Yes.
world, totally different world, and, around professional, dancers and artists, and it was amazing.
So,
It was
so
amazing.
how old were you at this time?
So this is so like my sophomore year of high school. So what do you like?
Oh,
Fourth, like, yeah.
wow, you were really young when you just became aligned. Like you just, wow.
Yeah, so it was like my sophomore junior year.
Yeah, 15, 16. Like you were a
15, 16.
teenager. Wow. So your bio states that you've studied African dance during the past 30 years. Again, another multi-part question. What were the dance styles you studied early on that you enjoyed most? Like out of the jazz, the tap, the ballet that you mentioned. What were the ones that you enjoyed most? That's one. And then two, of those styles, do you teach them now?
Um, it would be jazz. So since jazz was like the first genre that I was introduced to, that was it. I did not want to take ballet. I did not want to take tap. I didn't want to do anything else but hit it. Boom, chicka, boom, 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 boom. Like that was it. Give me my jazz shoes. And that was it. I just thought everything needed to be jazz. So I was, addicted to jazz dance. And then, everything else started to open its door. And high school was my first introduction to African dance, because the director of the dance program, she would have, because it's high school, so we didn't have every single dance genre in school. So we would have special guests that would come in. And there were two teachers that came to teach West African dance, and that was my first introduction. I was like, okay, I think I like this. I think, I'm not sure what I'm doing, because at that time, again, it was mostly jazz, modern, ballet. We didn't really have African. So I was like, okay, what is this? It's drumming, like, okay, we're moving a little bit differently. We're getting we're learning, history about the dance, and we would get, history about modern and ballet, but it was different. Like, you have to sit down, the teacher's going to, give you this information about the dance, and not like you didn't do that for modern and, jazz, but it was a different experience. And we're learning, we learn obviously, movement for modern ballet and jazz. You learn your vocabulary, you learn the movement, but we would learn the history of, why we're specifically doing this African dance, why we're doing it.
Yes.
So that was a different introduction, to African dance. And then
that's in high school.
That's in high school. So we had a little bit of high school, and then once I got to college, again, no African dance. In college, I started taking classes outside. So it's not like New York where you had, a zillion and one classes where you could take. It was very limited here in Jersey. So there were a few classes, that you could go to, on the weekends, like, maybe one or two during the week. So I would start to take those classes, when I could. And I was like, and it just, again, something just clicked, and I was just like, oh, I like this. Like, this is great. I still love modern and everything else, but it was another, freeing experience, something else, that just opening my eyes to something different. So I just really gravitated to it. And probably, I think you said where, like dance, primarily from Guinea. Like I've always been a jumper, like a jumper. Like I've always liked movement that was up and jumping and kicking. I wasn't into, like lamba. I was like, no, we gotta move. Why is it so slow? Like that just, was not for me. I would do it, but I still was like, I need to, all of that, move. So anything that was upbeat, I was really drawn to.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and that makes so much sense when I reflect back on the choreography.
Right. I know. Everyone was like, oh my God. I was like, jump and jump. High knees. Let's go. Come on. Yes. That has not changed.
And Kong Kong, man, we were doing like, I think it was Kong Kong. I can't remember.
Probably. Get those knees up. Let's go. Jump, jump.
Yes.
Cartwheel, roll. Let's go. Yes.
That wasn't
exactly.
my group. I did do a cartwheel on stage. Yeah, I don't know what drew me in. I remember being at Geneva, which was a dance studio. I think it still is in existence in New York. Just not in the location that I used to go to. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, but I was watching this class, and I was just like, I need to learn that, and it was Sabar. I am so in love with Sabar. I remember, this is a true story. It was the beginning of the class, and before we started to go down the line, there was always an introduction, like a drum call, right?
Right.
And people would move to go line up. And I caught myself, I looked up in the mirror, I was blushing. I was like, it was the drums. I literally was blushing. I was like, oh, let me move. I was so into, and I just still love Sabar so much. And I don't know what it is about the rhythm. I say I was blushing. I don't know if it was like bashful. I don't know, but I love Sabar. I've always loved Sabar. The rhythms, the nuances. I love the kick. You know that the jump kick. But yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I had to learn how to listen and dance on a different beat with somebody. You know.
Yes, it's a whole nother world.
Yes. So, when people ask you what you wanted to be when you grew up, did your answer sound similar to your current resume?
Absolutely, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I wanted to be a cosmetologist was what I wanted to do. So as I said, the performing arts school that I was at, I'm the one who would do the makeup. I don't know. I just had, I was really into makeup. So I would do makeup. I would do hair at that time. It was either, had perm. So it was a perm or, single braids, had single braids, but I really loved makeup. So my thought, was, I want to be a cosmetologist. That's what I wanted to do. I still love dance. But I really wanted to be, a cosmetologist.
Yeah.
So it was completely, I knew I was going to go to college, but didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was like, I'm just going to go to cosmetology school, didn't really know much about that. But what happened was my senior year of high school, the director at Montclair State, Lori Henry, she came to, she was friends with the director at the high school. So she would come to different concerts, the dance concerts, different high schools. So she came to the high school and she told my director that she was they were starting a scholarship at the Montclair State for the dance program. And they were looking, for dancers to come to the university, and they wanted to start this scholarship program. So I came to the concert, and I did my solo, because, you do a senior solo. When you're a senior, I did my senior solo, and she loved the solo, and she spoke to my director, and she was like, we want to offer Karen the first scholarship. So I was the first person to get a full scholarship in the dance program. To attend the dance program.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. That's dope. That is, but I have to ask, your solo, was it a combination of dance styles?
It was definitely it was called I'm Changing. It was to Jennifer Holliday's Look at Me, I Am Changing. I can't sing. And I was called Chrysalis because it was like I was transforming, into this dancer, and my dance teacher saw it. So it was definitely modern. There was definitely, I think, some, aspects of African and a whole bunch of different things in it. but it was about transforming. It was about, coming out of the shell, becoming this butterfly. So yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. That's how it all
I
started at Montclair State. Yes. Mm-hmm.
yes, I love
Yeah.
that story because you go through so much to become this beautiful being that
Mm-hmm.
and you literally just fly. Like
Mm-hmm.
you flew and you're still flying. I love butterflies.
Yeah.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
just
My
love the
favorite too.
concept of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, my perspective of being aligned audience with your higher self is living a purpose-filled life where you are actually doing what you came to this planet to do, your spiritual assignment.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you have positioned yourself to be of service to males, females, multiple age groups, and from
Mm-hmm.
various perspectives because you wear so many hats, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Does it ever become overwhelming? And if so, what are some self care thoughts, actions, or activities that you partake in to get back into alignment?
Mm-hmm. Definitely overwhelming. I have to, always come back, remind myself that this is what I wanted to, that I'm able to do what I love to do. And that
Sure.
so many people don't do that. You want to be a
Yes.
singer, but you work in a bank. You want to do this, but a lot of people are afraid to step out on what they really want to do, especially if it's, an artist, because, oh, you're not going to get paid, all of that sort of mindset
Sure.
sort of thing. So, when I feel like it's overwhelming, when a lot of stuff is going on, I have to come back to this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to do anything else other than be in the world that I'm in dance, in yoga. Like, that's what I want to do. And
Yeah.
I'm fortunate and blessed enough to be able to do that every day. And I have to remind myself, no matter how tired I get, no matter how stressed I get, the student, like all this other stuff, like I'm not I could be miserable, working in a bank. I could be miserable working, in an office and all of that sort of stuff, and not, being able to move and teach and create um, every day. So I have to remind myself of that. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed, my thing that, because as I've gotten, been able to go through my career, is traveling as much as I can. That brings me a sense of peace, sitting quiet as much as I can,
Okay.
practicing my yoga, just being, by myself. Like, I have no problems. Everyone's like, you're by yourself, or you're quiet, or whatever. My students are like, Miss Love, you sitting in the room by yourself. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm good with that. I don't need, a
Right.
bunch of people
Right.
around. So just being quiet by myself, if I'm reading a book, or if I'm just nothing, just sitting,
Yeah.
in silence, is fine
Yes.
for me. And I do that, when I start feeling, overwhelmed. And I didn't always do that. Like, I was, obviously when I was younger, I was always going out and doing this and doing that and hanging with my friends. And then slowly I'm just like, I love you, but I don't want to hang out with, I just want to be by myself and do, what I want to do, and go to different, retreats when I can, go to Kripalu, it's a yoga center, and just, be
Okay.
by myself and do, what I be quiet, is the best
Yes.
thing for me. But that constantly going back in my mind, there was a quote I saw a couple of years ago, and it was something about not complaining about, but the stuff that you wish for, or the things that you were praying for, that you now have those things. So you can't let it bother. I can't remember what it was, but don't let
Yeah.
it bother. This is what you prayed for, so you have to be
Yes.
okay, with that, the ups and the downs, because this is
Yeah.
what you wanted. So it's okay. It's okay. Everything's not going to always be on that level plane. So you have to be
Right.
okay, with the ups and downs, because again, you're doing what you love.
You love.
Hmm.
And your last name is Love. when you were talking and you referenced your creativity, a thought came to me. So, audience, I'm kind of going off track a little bit, but Karen, I really could have done this show on any chakra. Because for the root chakra, that's the physicality of life and the movement, the dance, right? Sacral chakra is creativity. It's planting the seed, it's developing the idea and giving birth to it. That's all of your shows. The solar plexus chakra is discernment, leadership, decision making. And the heart chakra, you're doing something that you're passionate about, that you love. The root chakra is self-expression and authenticity. And that third eye, you have vision, and you trust your vision and you share it with others. And then here we are at the crown chakra, like.
Oh, I love how you put that. I love how you put that all together.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, in the beginning, y'all, when I was learning various African dance techniques, I loved learning about the origin and meaning of the dances, like you mentioned earlier, Karen, when they should be performed and executed, and the songs that accompany them. For me, it's one thing to know the information and illustrate it on stage, and it's a totally different thing to do so via timely and creative transitions, i.e. dope choreography, okay? The crown chakra quality of knowingness is something that can't always be explained, as it's like an internal compass that directs and guides your thoughts, words, actions, and reactions. To create, choreograph, produce, direct, and perform as you've been doing, Karen, I feel like your internal compass must be pretty sharp. Was there a time when you didn't always trust it? And if yes, what did you do to strengthen your trust?
I'm not sure if there was a time that I didn't. I'm not sure if I didn't trust it. I was just, whether raised or trained, like, just do what you need. Just do what you need to do. Just make just make it happen. I didn't allow. I feel like I tell myself, like, those outside voices that you can't have a career in dance, you can't have a career in singing, like all of those outside voices that come to you. I didn't let those get to me. They were definitely there, and that could have made me not trust myself and think I couldn't do what I needed to do. But I listened to them and still just did what I needed to do. I didn't fall into you're going to be the struggling artist. I didn't fall into that mindset.
Okay.
I just kept, I never, you definitely hear it, but I didn't let that, I guess, stay in my spirit. I heard it, like, okay, but I'm working. I'm doing what I, need to do. I have, whatever jobs, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Sure.
But I didn't fall into that, if that makes sense. I heard it, but I didn't let it stick. Like, yep, I hear it.
Apparently. Yeah.
And just keep doing, because I feel if I did, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I just listened to everybody, you're not going to make money, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, there's no work in dance, because even with going to school for dance, going back to that, even my parents were like, what do you mean how do you go to school for dance? What do you mean college for dance? And my mom had to come in and meet with my dance teacher, and she sat down to explain to her, okay, this is what it means to go to college for dance, what the scheduling be like, what you can do with dance, the careers you can do. She doesn't have to go to college to be an accountant. Like, she can get a degree in dance and she can survive and make a living. Because at that time, was at when did I graduate from high school? 89. No one, people knew, but it was just like nobody knew what are you going to do with that degree? What do you mean you're going to go to school for
Right.
dance? Like that just, it was existing, but it was not existing in my world because again, there was
Right.
nobody that was, that was doing it.
Sure.
So, to change that mindset. And my dance director was able to talk to my mom. I was like, okay, well, she has a scholarship, so I guess she knows what she's doing. So she's gonna, it's gonna work out. So I'm
Yeah.
blessed that I had such great support. That's another huge thing. From my family, from my parents, my siblings. To understand. Well, that's Karen. She's just dancing. She's dancing, and they never were like, you need to stop that and get a real job. It was never any of that. It was always, supporting, what I was doing. So I definitely
Wow.
never felt any,
That's awesome because
yeah,
everyone doesn't have that story.
they really don't. They really don't. And I think because I had that and I try and be as supportive as I can for my students, for my company members. When they have a
Sure.
show, if I can get there, I'm gonna get there because that's what I got. I've never had a show where someone was not there from my family, whether it was my mom, my dad, my sisters, somebody, no matter if you were on stage for 2 seconds or 20 minutes, doesn't matter. Somebody was always there. So I always had that support. So I don't know what it feels like not to have, to not have
Wow.
that support. So when my students and my, company members are like, what do you mean nobody's coming to see you? How does that, what are you talking about? You're
Yeah.
performing. What do you mean nobody, it just
The reality.
the
Yeah.
reality. And I was just like, and then it was like I have to realize, how great, and how blessed and fortunate I was. And especially when I see that with my students,
Yeah.
we just had a concert and I'm asked, oh, Eileen, did your mom come? No. Did your dad come? No. Did your sister come? No. What were they doing? What do you mean they
Yeah.
didn't come?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. And I was like, I know you say it's okay, but it's not okay. And that, I'm sorry about that. And then I just feel like, ugh, how is that? Like, what were you doing? And it's
Yeah.
her dad
Yeah.
had to work. And she said, but her mom was home. I'm like, what are you doing at home? Your child is doing something. And there's nothing,
Yeah.
no physical ailments that you couldn't make it there. So that just stays with me, and the support, um, it really stays with me. So I'm really
Sure.
fortunate of the support that I had. So I'm always trying to be, it just comes natural
Supportive
to
to
me,
others.
supportive, to others, because I just didn't have that someone knocking on my door. You can't do this, you can't do that. There's, what are you going to do in the world of I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's a different experience, and I know so many people didn't have that. They didn't.
Exactly.
You can't go to dance. You can't make a living off of that. And that's not a real career, and all of that sort of stuff, and constantly getting that. Where they have to like, okay, I'm not gonna go to school for dance, or I'm not gonna take dance classes.
You'll try something else.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try something else, right? You need something where you can make money. I'm gonna go into computers and and all this other sort of stuff, and then they're empty on the inside because that's not what they want to do.
Right.
You want to
Right.
sing, you want to act, you want to draw, you want to be in fashion, you want to do all of these things, but you don't have the support.
Yeah. I know for me, like, I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I would say teacher. And then in high school, at some point, I was good with computers. So I said, and math. I'm going to do computer science.
Mm-hmm.
And then, long story short, I ended up finishing with a business degree because I didn't do well with computer science. And my mom was like, just finish with business. And I said, okay.
Just
And I
get it
did.
done. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what brought me to New York. Out of college, I ended up at Merrill Lynch in New York. So I moved
Okay.
from New Orleans there. But it wasn't a passion of mine. And I, at some point, listened to my inner self and quit that good job and went to massage therapy school.
Because you got to
And
get a
then
good job. You got to get a good job. Mm-hmm.
the benefits, you know what?
Yes. Yes. That is
Yes.
it.
And I went to massage therapy school, and then the rest is like history. Like I love I'm a Reiki master. I love my life. I love teaching the workshops, teaching people about energy, attuning people. I still enjoy massage. I used to teach massage, and I still enjoy, but I'm getting tired. It's 26 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I may move away from the physical part of that, but yeah, I definitely like I didn't know like exactly what I wanted, and at some point I did ended up just listening to my intuition. And one thing you were saying, like you said you heard it but you weren't paying attention to it, and I think that's awesome. For me now, I had to stop just saying what was coming to me and just move in silence, which annoys people. Otherwise I would get the opinions.
Exactly.
Because what I'm doing is like, it's not dance, but it's not one of those things that, you could retire big and,
Exactly. Yep. I
So
get
I'm
it.
definitely going against the grain a little bit. But I'm happy.
You're happy. I was just going to say it. You're happy, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I'm happy. And like, if you're in any of my Reiki workshops, I light up when I talk about chakras. Girl, I light up when I talk about chakras. I love talking about energy. So yeah, so audience, if whoever is listening and you're wondering, ooh, if you should try something, I'm telling you, just do it. Just try it.
Exactly.
Even if you do it on the side, just try it. And maybe not say anything.
That's right. Move in silence. Move in silence.
Yes. Okay, so an indication that the crown chakra is active is to become inspired from within. There are some people who do not get inspired from within, only from outside of themselves, like different people, places, or things. And that's cool because at least something is, there's a spark, right? Because then there's some people who don't get any type of inspiration from within or from something outside of themselves, okay? When you get excited about an idea where it makes you smile, feel giddy, and you anticipate the pre, during, and post experiences, there's a level of joy and satisfaction where it may seem like time stops, right? So that being said, do you still get inspired? And if yes, what inspires you the most?
I think it depends. Like I said before, it's travel. Like I love to travel, see different things, meet different people, just see different parts of wherever I'm at, different neighborhoods and people. But usually it's music. Music is a huge inspiration to me. I listen to everything, all different types of genres of music, and listening to their individual stories, whatever's going on in their life, whatever they choose to share. If I'm reading something, and certain things sort of stick with me. This person was going through this, or this person was going through that, and those sort of stories sort of stick with me. But I'm very visual, so it may be artwork, it may be a movie, it may be the ocean, but just seeing, so many different things can be challenging, because then I have a lot going on in this Gemini brain so then it's like I gotta bring it on in. What is this about? What am I working on, if it's in terms of movement? But just going back to music, but since I'm around so many young people in different ages, the youth, their sense of not so much carefree, but their sense of just, it is what it is. Like they don't get attached to anything really. So that that, so that gives me some inspiration and
Yes.
reminds me, to detach. Like I don't have to be attached to things and objects and all of that sort of stuff. So
Yes.
that gives me that inspiration that I have all that I need, and whatever comes to me at that given time, then that's what it's supposed to be. That I don't
Sure.
have to always look outside of myself. That again, with that sitting quiet, gives
Yes.
me that inspiration. It just sit there and it's gonna come. It's
It's
gonna
gonna
come,
come.
and
Yeah.
it will happen. I don't have to, go out to all these other things. Yes, travel is great, but again, with that sitting quiet and things they just come. Whatever it's going
Yes.
to be, whatever as everybody knows, what's for you is for you. So I don't worry about what anybody else is doing. That's great. Knock
Right.
yourself out. That doesn't move me. I don't need to do that. Like
Right.
that's not for me. Everything isn't for me. I know what's for me is for me. And if it's meant for me to be at this place or to do this or to work with this, whatever, it's going to work itself out. And a lot of
Yes.
people, majority of people just can't handle that. That doesn't work for them. That they feel that they have to grasp at everything and go on to the latest and the greatest of things. And
Right.
that's not me. I know what's for me is for me. What I'm meant to be, I will be. What I need to do, I will do, and it will come to me when it needs
Yes.
to.
I love that you mentioned and you've said it a few times about being still. And it's
Hmm.
so how do I say it?
It's
Um
vital. Everybody wants to move, and you just need to
yes.
sit. You just need to sit down.
Yeah, because I always talk because I love to meditate. Like I
Hmm.
love to be in quiet, and I can
Hmm.
sit and be in the quiet. I don't need things on. I can just
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
with myself,
Exactly.
and it is so healing
Hmm. Hmm.
just to be just to really, because I tell people the most basic meditation is focusing in on your breath, your inhalations and your exhalations, because some people say,
Hmm.
oh, I don't know how to meditate, I don't know how to,
Right.
just
Right.
focus in on that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
even if you can't focus on anything, just turn everything off and just sit.
And sit and sit.
Yes.
In our yoga training, part of our, towards getting towards our certification, we had to be able to sit in meditation for an hour.
Yeah.
No movement, no distraction, no fidgeting, no nothing. Just sit there for an
Yes.
hour. And every week, we have our training. Every weekend we had our training, and this day we're going to do 3 minutes. This next day 4 minutes, and you keep timing it and timing it until we got up to an hour. So when I'm teaching my students, and I'm like, I tell them about my training, and I had to be able to sit for. They're like, oh no, are you kidding me? They go crazy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't think I would be able to do it either. And I said, not that I'm just fidgeting, but it just didn't come into my mind like I would be able to sit,
Yeah.
for an hour and not do anything. And like you said, just focus on your inhale and your exhale and your breath and how
Yeah.
calming, that is. So when I'm just, if I'm teaching, because I'm around, all these kids, at the high school, and I'm sitting there, and I'm quiet, and they're like, Miss Love, it's so quiet in here. And I just look at them,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't take it. You need to be able to take it. You need to be able to
Right.
sit quiet. You need to be able to block out everything and just be okay with sitting with yourself. It's
Be
okay.
comfortable with
Be
yourself.
comfortable with that, and it's a
Yes.
challenge. It's such a
Yes.
challenge, for even
Because
the
we live in a
teenagers or for
society where we're
anybody.
overstimulated.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't sit without your phone. And I'm probably only I'm sure there's other people in America. If we didn't have to have a phone, I wouldn't have a phone, because I'm just like I'm so detached from it. And I'm
Okay.
always like, okay, where's my phone? They're like, I called you. Oh, you did? Okay, I text you. Oh, you did? Because my phone, I'm not with my phone. Like, I'm okay with just not being,
Yeah.
connected to everything and
Connected.
everybody and everything that's going on. Like, I'm okay,
Sure.
with that.
Sure.
Just being still. I need a t-shirt. Be still.
You do. Do it.
Be
Yes.
still.
Be still. Okay, so you are, to me, you are currently living within your own monumental legacy where your work is designed for you to pass your wisdom along. It's like what you do, you're also teaching people how to do it, I feel, right? In your bio, you mentioned that one of your mentors was Baba Chuck Davis. What are some gems or a gem that he passed down to you or modeled that has not only shaped who you are within the art space, but has also helped to generate an authentic, energetic imprint, your signature that can only be described as Karen Love's work?
Ho, ho. So I I couldn't think of like one specific thing. I think everybody, if you know Baba Chuck, you know his mantra, peace, love, and respect for everybody. You know that mantra. So one thing that I constantly would keep in my brain and that I got from him was whatever you're doing, to do it to the best of your ability, and then let it go. So don't do it because you want to do it, or just doing just any old thing. But whatever you do it to the best of your ability, not anybody else's. Do it to the best of your ability and let it go.
Yes.
So that was something he would always talk about, whether it was in rehearsals or whether it was, on different trips. So if you're going to do it, then do it. Just don't do it halfway. Do it to the best, and don't feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to do that. You have your own voice. Listen to your own voice, and do it. When I was doing the festival, or when we were in Africa, and I would say, well, I would like to do this, or such and such did this, and he would just bring it back to, what does Karen want to do? He would say, what does Karen want to do? And I'm like,
Right.
okay, let me sit with that. What is Karen? And I'm like, okay. And he would, stop listening to whatever, people want to tell you what you should do, or give you
Sure.
suggestions. Take it, but always go back to what you feel that you want to do, and do it to the best of your ability, and everything and if you look at his career and look at everything that he's done, everything he did was to the best of his ability. And everything was, if it's a white napkin, it's going to be the best white napkin possible, and that's it. It's not going to be halfway. It's going to be the best. Your version of the best, and that's
Your version.
not a hard thing to do, but it's easy because we can fall into, I'm just gonna do, just do the bare minimum. Let me just do this to get by, right? And he would never do anything just to get by. If you're gonna extend your hand, then you're gonna extend that hand, fully all the time. And if it's movement, you're not gonna mark through it. Then what do you? There's no marking. You're gonna do, if it's choreographed, you're gonna do it full out.
Wow.
Full out. What are you waiting for? There's nothing to wait for. So that would be the biggest thing that I would always carry from him. And I try to
Pass it on.
pass that on. Like, we always trying to be the best version of ourselves, and just do the best that you can do, not what anybody else can do. Do your best, and be okay with
Yes.
that, and let it go. Listen to what anybody else has to say, take it, but then
Yes.
just do what you need to do, for yourself. And that's a challenge,
Sure.
because everybody's always trying to be like everybody else. You TikToking and trying to do all this other stuff,
Right.
instead of just being your best, working on yourself and your version, because it's only you. There's only one
Yes.
version of you.
Yes.
That's
I love
it.
that. I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, lastly, and let me just say, I've enjoyed this so much.
Me too.
But lastly, I mentioned earlier that I witnessed grace in your movement. That deep lunge, right?
Lunge.
Yes. Do you feel like grace can be taught and learned? It comes with alignment with whatever it is you're doing, or both? All of it.
I think when I saw that, I was like, oh wow. I choreographed this piece called Grace, my second year of grad school. I was like, so
Okay.
she is on it. She is just on it. My second year grad school call, and it was called Grace, and it was music from Michelle and DiCello, and music from I can't. It wasn't set from Gabriel Roth and the Mirrors, another modern, and
Okay.
the piece started out with the dancer was a solo dancer, started with her hand on her chest and her arm up like this, and that's what the piece was about grace, about you not deserve you not deserving what all these things, but you still give it anyway. You give people patience, you give them not punishing them, you accept them for who they are and whatever it is, and you just move forward. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you can show it as much as you can, and then if the person is open to it, they're going to receive it. And then when you receive grace, I feel like once you receive grace, then you're able to give that to somebody else. So I don't know if I can teach somebody to be graceful. I can just do what I can do by me giving you grace, not holding you like, okay, you couldn't do it. I'm not going to go tit for tat like, well, remember when, just let that go and show people grace, and
Yeah.
they will feel it and experience it, and then they will continue to pass that on. So I'm sure you could teach it to someone. I don't know if I could. I can only go by what I'm able to share, by my actions, which hopefully
Yes. Okay.
would be enough,
Yeah.
and they can feel from that action, feel from my actions, that okay, I didn't go tit for tat. I let this, it's a right, it's forgiveness, and we're moving on. I'm not gonna hold this against you. It is what it is,
Sure.
and you see that and you feel that because we're everybody, not everybody, but you're given, you find that grace within yourself, and then you're able to share it. But if you've never experienced it, or not you've never experienced, but you don't recognize it, if someone doesn't, you have to recognize it, like, okay, this person is giving me some grace, so I have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I feel just my actions or your actions is what's going to
Sure.
show your grace.
Sure. Okay. I like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Karen. Thank you for being a guest on As the Chakras Spin. And audience, I don't know if you noticed, but she has on violet in her top and in her head wrap, and she has amethyst on.
My my favorite.
Yes, yes. So she came with the energy and the colors, y'all. Thank you. Please share with everyone your social media platforms, websites, in case anyone would like to take classes, audition with your company, or witness a show.
So our website is umojadance.com, umojadance.com. That's our website. Email is umojadance@aol.com. Facebook is Umoja Dance. Umoja Dance. I think it's Umoja Dance dash Wolfabe. It's for the festival that I created. Instagram, I believe, is Umoja Dance Studio. On Instagram, I'm not the social media guru, so it's there. It's there. I have somebody who does some of the social media stuff
Sure.
for us. But the best thing is our website and the email. I'm an email person, so definitely you can email us. We are getting ready for our my youth company concert, which is June 28th. So the young people are getting ready for that, and then
Right.
it's summer.
Yes.
Take a break, summer.
Yeah. So
Take a
after the
break.
concert, you're gonna take a break.
Yes, July and August is when I
Good.
tap out, reset, recharge, all of that good things. Get my chakras.
I got you just in time.
Yes, you did. Because I was like, who? Do what? What?
When?
It's July.
Wow. Yeah. And so it's going to air in July, but
It's gonna be
yeah.
great. I'm so excited. This is fabulous. Thank you so much. You are
Thank
amazing. I love
you.
you. I miss you. This is fabulous. Thank you for
Thank
thinking
you. I
about
love you
little old
too.
me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. And audience, thank you for tuning in to another episode as the Chakras Spin. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time, peace. Thank you for listening to As the Chakras Spin. You can find all episodes at TashiKDCooper.com. To learn the health of your chakras, you can schedule a chakra reading directly on my website. Until next time, peace.